Welcome to this edition of Insider Secrets, the weekly podcast that turns real estate investing goals into reality. Each show, we interview guests who are seasoned real estate professionals, actively closing and managing real estate deals. Mike is the founder of My Core Intentions and would like to help you make your real estate investing dreams a reality. Mike coaches you to buy investment real estate, creating short-term cash flow and long-term wealth. Your host and real estate coach, Mike Morawski, has more than 30 years of real estate investing and property management experience. Here's your host, Mike.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Mike, your host of Insider Secrets, brought to you by My Core Intentions. I ask every week, and I just want to know, what are your intentions? What'd you get up this morning and decide to do for today and for your future? Did you make a decision? You know, I just got off the phone with somebody who said, boy, I've been through all kinds of education and done this and done that, and I just can't seem to get anything going. The conversation I had with this lady was about mindset. It's really about what we put our mind to. I know that today's show, we're really going to get into that a lot, and I'm excited. I'm really excited about today's guests. Today, I'm joined by Joe Delagrave. Joe, say hi to everybody.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Joe, I'm glad that you're here. We're going to get into Joe's bio here in a minute, but first, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Remember, if you like us, follow us on social media, whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, Twitter, wherever you are, I am. So go like us, love us, follow us, subscribe to us. We provide you all kinds of great content speakers. Today, we're going to really dive into some mindset. Let me tell you about Joe a little bit. Joe's a husband and a father, an elite athlete, a keynote speaker. Whether he is on the court, speaking to audiences, or raising his kids, or spending time with his wife, Joe aims to live life with faith, authenticity, and passionate purpose. Joe, welcome to Insider Secrets, man. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. You and I talked several months ago, and I've watched you over the last few months. I'm just grateful that you're here, honored that you would take the time to be on Insider Secrets today. One question I ask all my guests, whether we're talking about mindset or real estate, what describes you in one word, personally and professionally?
Such a great question. Normally, I never really do anything concise, but as I was thinking about that, it's compassionate. I think we need to have compassion no matter what we're doing. For me, I'm in a leadership role a lot, whether it's as a husband or as a father or on my team. I think we need compassion in our foundation of what we do as husbands and as fathers, and then as leaders, wherever that is in the world. So I hope and I strive to be compassionate with whoever I meet.
So you're going to make me cry today, right?
We might have to cry fest with each other.
You and I will probably wind up in some rabbit hole, and I already see it. Listen, Joe, I kind of left your bio open, just to hit a couple of highlights about who you are, but I really want you to tell people who you are and your background and how you got to where you're at today and what brought you to this point.
So right now, I just finished up training for my third Paralympics. I was in Tokyo in 2021. I've been doing that for 13 years. I've spent 13 straight years in the national team, 8 as a captain, had some really great ups, some really terrible lows within that time span, but just finished wrapping up with that and deciding what the future looks like right now. That's been the full-time gig and something that not only me as an athlete striving for, but my wife, April, and our 3 kids. It's a full-time job. Outside of that, the last 3 years, been building my speaking career where I believe that's my purpose. That's my calling, to be able to speak to people and talk to people and hopefully inspire people to inspire themselves. And so that's what I do now, besides the bigger role of being a husband to April and a father to my 3 kids.
Did April and the kids go to Tokyo with you?
No, unfortunately they didn't. No family, friends, anyone could go. It was teams and athletes, coaches only. That kind of stunk, but they were able to watch on national television, which was neat. The Paralympic Games got massive coverage this year from NBC. And so they were able to watch Dad on national television, which I think is cool for them.
It was pretty cool to watch. I watched some of it. What I really enjoyed were some of the clips on social media that you guys were doing. It was some cool stuff. So listen, for our listeners that don't know Joe, why don't you explain to them what Paralympics are and how you wound up in a wheelchair?
So para in the Paralympics means parallel to the Olympic for athletes with physical disabilities. And it is the second biggest sporting event in the world aside from the Olympics. We use the same venues, same Paralympic village, the whole thing. And it's about 2 weeks after the Olympics. I got involved in the Paralympics back in December 2008 was my first tryout for the national team and made it. Before that, as a normal able-bodied kid, I grew up playing sports, football, basketball, baseball, swim, plays, musicals. So I just love being a part of a team and that team environment. That was my identity and my passion was sports and being able to play them. One of the goals I had was to be able to play college football or college basketball. Is pretty decent in both sports. July 10th, 2004 rolls around and life changes. A 6'6", 260-pound football player in college and in between my freshman and sophomore years of really just living out my dream. I wanted to go to college and get an education and be able to play a sport. So I was just living out my dream. I played at a Division II school in Winona, Minnesota, about 2 hours south of the Twin Cities. July 10th, 2004, I was back in my hometown of Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, which is right on the Mississippi River, bordering Iowa. My buddies, Kyle and Adam, are back from college. I'm back from college. And you can picture a July day. It's 75 degrees, partly cloudy. I think any of us can think back to being 19. It's a romantic time in your life because there's so many different avenues you can go down or maybe go down, or who you're dating and what you want to major in. And there's no real responsibilities except for making sure you get your tuition in, or do I got enough money to go hang out with the boys on the weekends? There's nothing really holding you back. And that day I had my hands behind my head, like signaling, hey, I'm just a 19-year-old kid living the dream. Kyle ends up hitting the bottom of the river. I fly backwards in the boat. I was sitting in the boat. I wasn't drinking, wasn't doing anything crazy, wasn't flipping myself into the water, but just sitting on the boat. And Kyle hits the bottom of the river accidentally. We were in a back sluice. You never know how deep or shallow the water is. I fly backwards. The chair breaks. I hit my head on the front of the boat, inside the boat, and instantly break my neck at the C6 and 7 level, which is 6 or 7 vertebrae down from the base of your skull. So in a split second, I go from this rough, tough football player that's on top of the world to something's wrong. Something's really wrong. I didn't know the gravity of the situation. I didn't know the permanency of the situation. I just knew that something was wrong. Kyle and Adam ended up calling 911. I go from the boat to the rescue boat to the ambulance to the local hospital to a helicopter to get med flighted to a bigger hospital. A couple days later is when I'm coming through surgery and coming to realize what was going on. The doctors are like, you've got a spinal cord injury. You're paralyzed at the C6 and 7 level. This is your function. This is what life's going to look like. And they just start spewing out all these different things. And I'm like, I have football practice in a month. What do you mean I'm not going to walk again? What do you mean I'm not going to play football again? And it just went from life is easy and living out the dream to a complete emergency brake and going, wait, what? What do you mean paralysis? What do you mean spinal cord injury? What do you mean C6 and 7 incomplete quadriplegic? Like all these different things, phrases and terminology being thrown out. And I'm going, what's life going to look like now?
I got chills. I can't even imagine what that must have been like for you to be in that situation, or for your parents or your friends. I got to imagine that it was a tough little bit of time. So from that day and that news and information, where'd you go?
Some things in my life that I've really clung to on that day or the weeks and months after, years after, or through whatever life circumstances, faith is at a foundation. My faith is extremely important to me. And the people in my life, the people in my inner circle was something that I clung to as well. So my wife, April, we were dating at the time, and at 19 years old, it's just a college relationship. We had started dating our last month of our senior year, and she was there every single day in the hospital for 3 straight months. To have that kind of love and support there, we ended up getting married. She's been my wife for 14 years. To have that kind of love and support shown to me at such a young age with such a devastating accident was just a godsend. Having teammates come into the hospital room from high school or college, coaches from high school or college, our parents, friends, families. There was so much support around me saying, Joe, you got this. You can do this. It was hard to sit and pout, even though there's plenty of times that I did. But at the same time, like there was so much love and support. From that faith standpoint, there was a Bible verse, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, that says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your understanding in all your ways. Acknowledge him and he'll direct your paths. I'd had a shirt on a week before my accident. It was a House of Speed shirt. And I ended up getting this shirt from a friend of mine on the football team in college. He was our kicker. And our kicker decided to make fun. It was my freshman year. I was a true freshman. So of course I'm getting like the brunt of all the jokes and whatever. And he gives me this shirt as a tight end. And he's like, dude, you're slow, whatever. He gave me this because I had forgot my shirt underneath my pads at an away game. And I'm like, guys, someone's got to give me a shirt. I don't want to get all chafed and rubbed down. And so he throws me this House of Speed shirt. And it was, yeah, I know I'm slow. I'm a cheeseburger away from being a tackle, basically. And he's giving me crap. So I'm like, I'm going to keep this shirt. And a week before my accident, I had this shirt on. And a guy I was working with was like, hey, what's that verse? I had no idea what it was. And then a week later, I break my neck. And I remember my sisters putting it on a poster on the hospital wall. And I see it each morning waking up. But to be honest, with that verse, it was a promise, but it was also something that I just got pissed off about. I like to be authentic. I was mad. I was angry at God and at my circumstances and at my situation. I'm 19. I don't want to be in this hospital bed paralyzed or looking at this wheelchair alongside me as this thing is crippling and devastating. What do you mean trust in your plan when I had a great plan of getting through college and being able to play a sport, and that's gone now. My identity's ripped away. So right away, it was just this wrestling match of listening to the support and love that I have, but also, man, I'm angry, I'm mad, and I'm frustrated at this situation and at the circumstances and obstacles that I have now.
Couple things I just want to unpack here for a minute. First of all, life changes, man. Like that, my story where I was, all the success I built and lost it all, and spent 10 years in federal prison as a result of that. My identity, which I think is huge for people, they put their identity in the wrong things from time to time. The business I had and how many apartments I owned, all the wrong stuff. I said I was a Christian. I said I walked with the Lord. This whole episode might turn some people the wrong way, but you know what? Hopefully we're going to touch somebody by this, because the compassion on your heart, the empathy, you can just hear it. So how did you come from that place of, oh my God, my life has changed?
Yeah, it's not a flip of the switch. It's not a pill that you take that everything's better. And I think a lot of people get stuck when they're like, yeah, today I want to make this choice that I'm going to have a positive attitude, or I'm going to have a mindset like I can get through this. It's the discipline to make that choice every single day. It's a choice every single day. To be completely honest, I'm in a spot right now at the time that's recording. I'm off the high of highs of the Paralympics. And then I come back and it's gone, right? Very interesting. It's a very easy thing to fall into depression. I've got a beautiful family and a lot of things going for me. But at the same time, I'm feeling like, man, that was a lot of my identity right there. And it's a daily choice to say, no, I'm pursuing my purpose. I'm continuing to walk in the same direction that I had with other goals. It was no different when I was in the hospital room. A lot of people say, I really want to get better. I really want this goal, but their behaviors aren't lining up with it. They're completely against what they're actually their actions and their words aren't aligning. That's something where a lot of people fall into that trap of, I don't know where to go from here. And honestly, they do. It's easy. I talk a lot about W's. The first one's words with goals. Second one's work. And that's where everyone just says, maybe it's not worth it. It's a lot of work. Like it's a lot of work. So in the hospital, I was like, man, I want to get as much function back as possible. The athletic mentality, the doctors are going, you got a 3% chance to walk. You're probably not going to walk. So I'm like, I'm going to try my best to get whatever I can back. They said from the way the nerves and everything come back, that it's about a 2-year window. So I'm working my butt off. I'm working to try to get better each and every day, working at how do I get home out of this hospital and how do you push this wheelchair around? And you're going through with spinal cord, like you can't sweat. And so you're trying to learn your body and how to regulate your temperature. You can't go to the bathroom by yourself. So you're trying to figure out catheter and how to get on a bowel program and like things that at 19 years old, you're just like, oh, I don't want to do it. It's like when a nurse told me that I was going to have to use a catheter the rest of my life 6 times a day. I'm going like, no, I don't want to do this. This sucks. Or talking to a nurse about how do I get poop to come out of my body now? Like, let alone the wheelchair, just stuff that you take for granted. I want to do this at 19 years old. I just want to be able to go back to school and play some ball. So it's the wrestling match of working hard, but then dealing with a lot of the setbacks throughout that time in the hospital. There was the mentality and a setback, and the mentality and then a setback, the mentality and then a setback. But I'm not going to get through it by myself. A lot of people say they're self-made, and I call BS on that. I just call BS straight up, because for me, there's a lot of people that are like, Joe, you're inspirational. But I'm like, no, there's people, there's April, my faith, clinging to that verse that's saying, you're not going to understand it all the time, but just lean on me here as you're getting through this. So I think it's a myriad of things, but that work aspect and the choice to say, I'm going to go back and work at it, I think that's a big one there.
It's interesting what you said about every day you have to make the choice. And I think that we live in a society today where social media makes it look really good for everybody to be living this life that's so grandiose. We live in a world today that for a couple $100 an hour, you can go rent a private jet, a car, and a model to take some pictures to post on social media to say you're really famous. Yet you don't want to go through the work or the daily grind and the daily discipline that it takes you to get that jet, fancy car, or model to hang out with, right? People say, oh, I can't do it. It's too hard. You know what? When you take somebody in your situation or somebody who's built a business from scratch, because you're right, there is no self-made millionaire, no self-made person. Everybody does it with somebody around them. You have to have people on your side, in your court, in your corner to help you, to lift you up, to push you forward, to help you do the things that are so critically important in our lives. Damn, Joe, how do you get through? And has any of that stuff changed from when you were 19 laying in the hospital bed and they told you all that? Is any of that improved? Are you different today, or where are you at?
Yeah, 100%. The difference is learning how to respond to circumstances or obstacles in your life. At 19, I'm laying in the hospital. I'm like, this sucks. This whole thing is awful. You're getting told that you're not going to walk again, and you're getting told that you're not going to be an athlete again. You're getting told that life's going to look different, and you're going to have to do X, Y, Z. I had all these thoughts and questions swirling around in my head. I'm going like, is this girl going to be with me still? Do I have to switch majors? What am I going to do now? Where am I going to find my passion and purpose? I have no idea what I'm passionate about besides sports. And all these questions around my head, a lot of times it starts with the foundation, and it's a call to action in a way. Don't worry about what you're going to do, but get up. Don't worry about what you're going to do, but take the next step. And it's a leap of faith. It's one step forward. For me to go live life at 19 was just getting in the wheelchair and seeing that the wheelchair was the miracle. I'm praying for a toe to wiggle. I'm praying for a leg to move. I'm praying for my paralysis to be gone. But really, a lot of times what we do is we're able to understand how to find the opportunity within the obstacle. A lot of times we see the obstacle and go, my life's ruined. My life sucks. Well, the blame game, you're blaming God, you're blaming other people, whatever it is. And you become rigid with it. Then you realize, like, what opportunity do I have here in this obstacle? And it's sitting right next to the bed, and it's a wheelchair. If you get in that, then you understand how to do some rehab and understand how to take care of yourself. You get in the wheelchair and you're able to start going back to school, and you start to find out who you are as a new person in a new body. For me, it was from 19 to now, 17 years later, I've learned that it's not the victories that are on a scoreboard. It's the choices you make in your failures. It's the choices you make in your valleys of life that will truly define your character and your integrity. What reactions do I have when something bad happens, or an obstacle or a circumstance that I didn't see popping up? How am I going to respond to that?
I love what you said, that the choices we make in our life define our character and our integrity. I think our character is defined by our integrity. I guess it's all in perspective and how you look at it as an individual. And some of the listeners today might be looking at it different than you and I look at it. But because today my identity is in Christ, I can say that those setbacks in my life, as in yours, defined who I am today, the man that I am today, and what I want to do in the world today as a result of it. So the setbacks really were good when you look back on it. As crappy as they were good. Life is interesting, right? It's a journey we're all on. And you know what? You and I both got a lot of runway left. Neither one of us are done yet. Here's what I want to talk about. And if we don't want to go here, just tell me, how has April hung in there 14, 15 years? And what's life like for her?
Yeah, we obviously have a different relationship than most. I don't fit a lot of the male roles within the family, which has been interesting and good to communicate on what our expectations are. I always say that unknown expectation leads to future resentment. So we've had to communicate a lot about what our expectations are within the marriage, our roles within the marriage, and what that looks like. So there might be things that I do that some guys don't do. And it took a while to get over some of that, because you attach yourself to some masculine things. I mow the lawn, I take the garbage out, I'm a man, you know what I mean? Which couldn't be farther from the truth. Like, those boxes don't need to be checked in order to be masculine. But April's been phenomenal in who I am. I always tell people, man, get yourself a wife that is going to hold you accountable. She's so good when we have conversations about goals and we have conversations about what we want to do and how we want to parent, to be able to come alongside me and really keep each other accountable towards those goals and really do a check and a rundown of, hey, where are we at with that? Are we aligning with what we've talked about doing? That part of it's been amazing. And she's just always been someone there that is able to lift me up when I need it, but also pull me back. So having that relationship where we can encourage each other has been great. Also, our relationship's no different than other people. There's a disability, there's a wheelchair, we do things differently, but she treats me like a person. She's not going to open the door, push my wheelchair around because she knows that I can do it. She's not taking care of me. I'm completely independent. She obviously cooks way better than me unless it's on a grill. What I'm trying to say is she treats me like a normal husband that happens to have a disability and can't do a few things.
You kind of alluded to this early on, but to get somebody who's going to hold you accountable. If somebody holds you accountable, you need to pay attention to them. I always tell this story about back in 2008. I never talked to my wife about business, and a situation happened with my ex-partner in 2008. I never told my wife about it. We go to dinner a couple nights later with his wife and my wife and the four of us. On the way home, out of nowhere, she says, I don't trust him. And I say, oh, honey, don't worry about it. I got it. Thinking I'm being a good husband, right? When really I should have said, what do you mean? Tell me more about that. See, that makes us a better husband. I know that today. I didn't know that then. We need to listen to our spouse, because from a male perspective, I really think that the female is much smarter than we are, and their insight matters. And I never thought that before. So it was interesting you brought that up. What's on the agenda for you? Where are you headed? Where's the Delagrave family going? And what are you guys up to?
I've got to make a decision on whether I'm going to play still or go into a different role or whatever that would be. Still trying to figure that out as far as an athlete goes. We feel is our purpose. April works with me within the speaking business and on the administrative side of things, but truly believe that's my purpose and calling in life. So just rocking with that. Our kids got the calendars full of activities with sports and church activities throughout the week. So it's a busy time, and that's what we're chugging along with.
Get to live vicariously through your kids today, huh?
Yeah, I'm figuring out how to be a sideline parent. If I'm not coaching or I'm not playing as an elite athlete, I get a little excited during the games.
I want to ask, where's the guys that were in the boat with you? Where are they today?
Yeah, my friends Kyle and Adam, still two of my best friends in this life. They've been phenomenal. So Kyle lives in Chicago, Arlington Heights there. Then Adam lives back around our hometown, just across the river in Iowa. He jumped across the river there and has a farm.
Yeah, I live in Chicago. I grew up in Palatine, right next to Arlington Heights. I want to thank you for today. Let's lighten this up a little bit. And I always like to ask those bonus round questions. Tell me what your favorite tourist attraction's been. You've been all over the world in the Olympics and that, so.
I think probably the favorite's been the Sydney Opera House when we were there. The reason is because with the kids, I'd watched Finding Nemo so many times. And it was like the movie was coming into real life type of thing. The first time going there was in 2013, and getting to see that makes the world feel really small.
Nice. That's cool. Best book you ever wrote or read?
Best book I ever wrote, hopefully the one I'm writing right now. The best book I've ever read, besides the Bible, of course, Uncommon Ground by Tony Dungy. Fantastic. I went back to it a couple times throughout the years.
Real good book on marriage. Then best restaurant meal. What do you like?
I'm a sucker for pizza. I don't get into this whole Chicago, New York, Detroit battle. I just appreciate good pizza, whatever it is. That's definitely like the guilty pleasure. Let's go get some pizza type of thing.
When you come to Chicago, we'll take you for some good deep dish.
Sounds good.
Hey, I want to thank you for being here. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, pick your brain, talk to you about speaking or have you at an event, how do they do that, Joe?
Head over to joedelagrave.com. Check me out on Instagram, JDelagrave14. If you want to get angry and go hang out on Twitter. I feel like everyone's angry over there at Joe Delagrave.
Yeah, I got a couple of buddies that are political advocates. They want to kill each other on Twitter. So it's funny you say that. Hey, I'm grateful for this time today. This totally took a turn that I didn't think it would take. And I'm glad we both got to express our faith. You could talk about your family and your mindset. And it's so much about the choices that we make every day and moving ourselves forward. And I appreciate you being here. And I look forward to continuing our relationship and getting to know each other more. To the listeners, we will be here next Tuesday. Pass this episode on to somebody else because I am confident that it'll move hearts and move minds. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for joining us for another great episode of Insider Secrets. As always, Insider Secrets is brought to you by My Core Intentions. Wherever you hang out on social media, you will find Mike and My Core Intentions. Please like and follow us to get the most up-to-date real estate investing trends. Visit mycoreintentions.com, where you can get expert coaching on all things real estate investing and property management. If you're looking to become an expert, Mike's coaching will help you scale your real estate investment business. We're looking forward to having you back again next week for more Insider Secrets.